From UFOs to psychic powers and government conspiracies, history is riddled with unexplained events. You can turn back now, or learn the stuff they don't want you to know. Here are the facts. On December 7, 1941, the Imperial Japanese Navy launched a devastating attack on the United States naval base of Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. This strike left thousands dead and crippled some of the U.S.'s most valuable assets in the Pacific theater. There is little question that this attack hastened American involvement in World War II. Congress declared war on Japan on December 8th. By December 11th, Japan's allies, Germany and Italy, declared war on the U.S., and the U.S. reciprocated. Pearl Harbor had other catastrophic effects. It shocked a democratic nation to the point of interning its Japanese, German, and Italian-descended citizens. But there's something else to this story. Some people believe Pearl Harbor wasn't a surprise at all. In fact, they argue, the United States allowed it to happen. Here's where it gets crazy. Would President Roosevelt have allowed the Pearl Harbor attack to occur? There's no question that facets of the U.S. government received ominous signals from Japan in the months and days leading to this attack. In his book, Day of Deceit, Robert Stinnett argues that the U.S. provoked Japan and allowed it to attack as a way of gaining public support for intervention in the war. One of his most cited pieces of evidence is the McCollum Memo, a note written by Lieutenant Commander Arthur McCollum in 1940. Stinnett interprets this memo as a step-by-step guide to leading Japan into war. However, the vast majority of historians object to Stinnett's conclusions, noting that his text contains contradictions and leaps of logic, specifically that there is no evidence of Roosevelt actually reading the memo. Yet arguments don't stop there. Radar operators at Pearl Harbor received advance notice of incoming planes from the outlying Opana radar station, but confused this massive radar movement with a fleet of B-17 bombers expected to arrive that morning. Those who believe that the U.S. planned for the attack also point to statements by high-ranking officials of the time, such as U.S. Secretary of War Henry Stimson and Vice Admiral Frank Beatty. Admiral Husband Kimmel believed that documents regarding the attacks had been destroyed, and Vice Admiral R.E. Libby allegedly said, "I will go to my grave convinced that FDR ordered Pearl Harbor to let happen." The debate over Pearl Harbor has continued, in part, because so many documents from the time were lost. Some documents were destroyed to prevent the risk of them from falling into the hands of Japanese forces, and some surviving documents have yet to be declassified. And, as for whether or not the U.S. purposely provoked Japan, the answer may be more nuanced. It is true that the U.S. put enormous diplomatic pressure on Japan, including oil embargoes. Yet escalating diplomatic pressure and allowing an attack are two different things. To others, the deciphering of Japan's Purple Code proves U.S. foreknowledge, though this has never been accepted as a mainstream fact, as knowledge of the codes does not necessarily mean Roosevelt received all of the messages. There's a crucial question here. Which is more likely, a conspiracy or bureaucratic incompetence? In the 10 exhaustive inquiries that followed the events, the U.S. government found that incompetence, an inability to connect the dots, spelled doom for Pearl Harbor. Yet more than 70 years after this attack, the debate continues. Why? To skeptics, historians, and scholars, the conspiracy theory is popular because there is a dearth of physical evidence, a wealth of misinformation, and a willful drive to look for extraordinary explanations. To theorists, revisionist historians, and authors like Robert Stinnett, however, the true story of Pearl Harbor is still something the government doesn't want you to know.
It is my conviction that action by the Navy Department at any one of these significant dates in furnishing me the information from the intercepted messages would have altered the events of December 7, 1941.